coming up on the Social Grenade podcast with guest Cody Carter.
1,799 cars.
Did that piss you off?
It was my wife's fault. She jinxed me on the last one. And about a week into the new year, I get a call. Oh, we're going to unwind this deal. The bank is not taking it. Like the competition was fierce, and I worked around the clock for about 4+ years at this store until I was able to come up with my and I just remember getting my first customer and said, hey, I found you online on Lease Hacker. And I was like, okay, well, this actually might work. I think that I now have like almost 1 million views on that particular topic and thousands of comments.
And Cody, this is just going to be casual. I want you guys to know that I have not even told Cody, like, this is what we want to talk about. Here's a list of questions. I literally just went, hey, can you? He said yes, and we're off to the races. So, Cody, tell everybody, in case they don't know who you are, tell them a little bit about yourself and what you do and where you work.
For sure. So I'm Cody Carter. I've worked for Toyota for going on about 14 years now. I'm located in California, Tustin, Toyota. I've been there about 10. When it comes to car sales, the last several years have been number one for Toyota. And last year I sold a record 1,799 cars.
Did that piss you off?
So it was my wife's fault that I didn't get. She jinxed me on the last one. So we had 1,800, and then last minute deal fell apart. I found another deal slot in there. And my wife's like, something's going to happen. You're going to end 1,799. I was like, no. It's solid. And about a week into the new year, I get a call. Oh, we're going to unwind this deal. The bank is not taking it.
Oh my gosh.
1,799 is the number.
Well, you know what? It's still number one, ain't it?
Yep, still number one. But I think this year will be even bigger.
So I gotta get my calculator out. So about 150 a month.
150 a month.
What does that look like? So, I would assume that if you're selling 150 cars a month, that you are like literally 7 days a week, because you guys are open on Sunday in California, right?
Yeah. So in theory, I am 7 days a week. I might not necessarily be there every single day. And I do have some coverage from, I have a traditional assistant who's actually my sister-in-law. And then as of mid last year, I added a finance assistant as well. So he helped with the paperwork because it was getting overwhelming. So yeah, I'm in store Tuesday to Saturday, 9 to 2. And then after that, I help with the kids, and, I'll jump on the computer from home, of course, but we pretty much were scheduling everything several days in advance. So when I go into the store, I already know what's going to happen that day. That's why don't have to be in store super long. But yeah, the process is super refined. Everyone's application is in before they even show up to the store.
That's amazing. And so, but I'm sure it wasn't always like that. So you started working on a process or a system and went, this is working better for me. So let's go back to before you worked 9 to 2, and how did we get to where we are today?
So, the store workout is really cool.
Because I can guarantee you, nobody on this call, they're barely selling 150 a year.
Yeah. The way our store was super cool. I take a lot of it like as kind of my start. You had your normal leads and your normal schedule when I started there, but our store did from 9 p.m. to 9 a.m. All leads were free for all. So me and about 3 dudes would be up till about midnight trying to steal every lead we could. And I'm 1 second faster than you in this lead. And one guy would then wake up at 4 a.m. Like the competition was fierce. And so I worked around the clock for about 4+ years at this store until I was able to come up with my
I love that.
So
she literally went, whoop.
Yeah. By the camera. But so that was the start of it. And then one idea that actually came from somebody else was like, hey, have you seen this online forum for leases? And so one day it was called Lease Hacker. We'll still call Lease Hacker. And so I decided one day to post on there and started just, showing some of the deals that we have. We're a pretty aggressive store. And I just remember getting my first customer and said, hey, I found you online on Lease Hacker. And I was like, okay, well, this actually might work. And so was just posting a lot on that forum. I think that I now have almost 1 million views on that particular topic and thousands of comments. So fast forward to now, it's, every day someone's like, hey, I saw you on Lease Hacker. And,
that's interesting.
That's just
interesting because, and I don't know that I've ever heard of Lease Hacker. So that, and I know that California is a heavy lease state anyways. Where other states aren't. Like I think probably in Missouri, especially like in the area I'm in right now, we're probably at less than 10% penetration on leases here. What do you guys run at? Do you guys run over 50% lease penetration?
Our store's probably 40%. I'm like closer to 80.
Okay. And so that's like you found your sweet spot right there and then go, okay, this is where I'm going. Okay.
Definitely.
And so one thing that we talked about is that you don't do a lot of social.
just that lease hacker, and then I'll post some stuff on some of the Facebook pages for the different Toyota groups, and that's
Right.
pretty much it. Like,
well, so you do use it, you just use it differently than everybody else does. You're like
Yeah.
really getting those groups going, and we talk about that all the time. I had another a guy that was up in upstate New York who he's at a very small pre-owned lot, and he's selling like 35 plus a month.
Wow.
But he does it all through Facebook groups. Like he's like literally working the Facebook groups. And so figuring out where your strategy is on social and then going, okay, where did I get, if you don't try almost a lot of things at once, like this, and this, and then go, what's working? Like if you did never try Lease Hacker, you would never know Lease Hacker worked.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Right. So what do you think it contributes? How much of your business every month? Lease Hacker?
I would say I'd probably get 20-30% of my customers through there. And it's the crazy thing is I don't even post a lot anymore on there. It's just well known. And anytime some like over this weekend, I had like 3 people tag, well, just reach out to Cody, stop trying to do it yourself, and he'll just help you get it done. So, that helps me a lot.
Yeah, and that's cool because you've gotten to that point right there. But all of these people who are not at that point, like they have to go, where do I start? Where do I get to that point? And so we think about the groups. Are you like in the buy, sell, trade groups?
Oh, I got the baby here. I'm in all of them, but mostly like if like say Toyota Crown and just people who are talking about the car, and so I'll go in there and answer just questions for them.
For the vehicle specific groups.
Yeah, and just trying to provide value.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine. And I get to interrupt your day. I don't care. So that's fine. So like I joined in, like there was this Facebook group when Mazda was trying to bring back one of their models that they don't make anymore. And everyone was like going, because I was at the Mazda party at like the New York Auto Show or something like that. And they like made this whole Facebook group and like Mazda's not bringing it back. So it's irrelevant. And so I think about that. And I don't know if you guys know, like I know like for the CDJR stores, there's tons of Jeep groups out there that you can join. There are tons of like Ford groups that you can join. And so getting really creative and trying to find those, but the ones that you're finding like the Toyota Crown, if you're in that one, are they all, they're not in your area though, right? Does it matter?
It doesn't necessarily matter. Like I always thought of just providing value first, right? And then you'll get the tags, and then you'll get people that are in your area. I'll do out of state too for like purchase, not lease. And so we'll still see some of that, but typically I'm doing a lot of just all of California, NorCal, San Diego County and things like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, pretty much every different group, Grand Highlander, etc.
Right. That's interesting. So it'd be interesting for all of you that are watching to go like, these are the vehicles that I'm very knowledgeable about. And then are there groups out there about that you can contribute? And I noticed that you didn't say, I go in there and spam them and go, hey, I'm here to answer all of your questions, or I'm here to sell you a vehicle. You're in there adding value.
Yeah, the response doesn't go well if you start as a salesperson first. Typically, some of them are owners groups, and some are people looking to become owners. So,
the I'm a Car Chick podcast is a proud sponsor of the Social Grenade podcast. Listen now.
Yeah, and so when you're adding value, so someone goes in there and asks a question, and you just answer, or do you post informational stuff too?
So sometimes I'll post, just a generic question to that, because a lot of times we still get this like anti-dealer mentality. So sometimes you're like, well, let me explain kind of what they're probably thinking and why it's that, and just give some information there. Some of the Toyota financial knowledge that most people don't understand. Sometimes I'll get some early photos that I can post or things like that. So just little things that are get attention. And of course, then there'll be times after that, like where I will make a post where like, hey, I got a couple crowns, that great deal, pickups here. I can ship if you want. And then, you'll get people from that too. So but I don't start that way. I want people to know the name first.
So then now take me through like a typical day for you. You're working 9 to 2. Obviously you're up in the morning helping your wife take care of the kids, get all that done. But when does your business start? When do you start looking at, like not what's scheduled today, but what leads that you need to talk to, that you need to throw in the funnel?
So I started working on like new business around like 11 a.m. because in the morning, it's depending what day it is. I'll probably put the cars in detail myself in the morning if my assistant's not there yet. So I'll put the cars in detail. I start printing just like the basic file, which is like driver's license, insurance, credit, and deal jacket. And then I stack them aside for the finance assistant to come pick up when he gets in at like 9:30. So about 11 is once I'm free, because the drivers, I have 2 porters. My 2 porters will show up for whatever deliveries they're going to go do. Once they're on the road, I'll log into my website and see what leads I generated overnight. So I think right now, because I haven't looked at this morning, but I think I have 3 or 4 credit apps that came in overnight for cars that are either here or on the way. So then I'll work on getting that approved. Once it's approved, we'll just kind of just do some general contact with the customer. And there's plenty of auto brokers around 1 o'clock or 12 o'clock that are finally waking up and sending us a bunch of requests as well.
So you have your own website. I'm going to assume it's not the dealership's website. You created your own.
So there's a history behind the website. So I had started with just a Google spreadsheet, which people would request this like hidden link. People text you like, I heard I need this link, but I don't know what it is. So it's kind of a fun thing for a while. And then it just became overwhelming. And so I just wrote out like what my website wanted to be. And so I had this in my notes for a while. I ended up running into a customer who was a designer. And I was like, I have this idea. And he just jokingly, well, what do you think it's going to cost? And I was like, well, if I can do it for like 15 grand, I'm in. He's like, okay, I just want to make sure you understand what this is going to be. It cost me like 10 grand, ran that site for a few years. Toyota ended up shutting it down, saying that no dealer can have more than one website. And so it became a shop. It became a subdomain. It was Cody.TustinToyota.com. And then that ran for a few years. And last year they had a problem with it again. So now it's just shop.TustinToyota.com. But it's based on Roadster. So I use that. But that's where the back end's all Roadster for me. It does most of what I want. There's still some glitches. My old website was better.
Yeah. And so then are you considered a dealer?
No, because I'm under the subdomain of the store I work for. So my title is, which gets people confused, is internet sales manager. But our store believes anyone who's on the internet is essentially a manager. So, there's a director above us, but my title will be sales or internet sales manager.
Yeah. Okay. So last month I had Frank Cornetti on here, and
love him. He's really nice.
He is a machine. Like he has got a lot of words, and so he walked us through what his day looks like too. And I think I'm probably still a little vague on some things. So like your people come in, like all the applications come in, and then they get worked through your finance assistant. And do they already know what car they're on?
Yeah. So typically, because it's not like your normal experience, like just send me an app and we'll find you a car, right? I'm pushing everybody through the Roadster process.
Okay.
Pick your car, pick your term. Everything you see is fixed, right? We're not going to negotiate anything. It's like this almost Amazon click and buy experience.
Right.
And so that's, again, most people are going to know exactly what they want. We had some hiccups yesterday, which is fun when I'm not there, where they selected a Tacoma. And then when they got there, like, oh, I'd like to look at a 4Runner too. And the assistant's like, oh, this is not the normal process.
Yeah.
So, because our whole thing is like, I want to get you in and out of here in 30 minutes.
Wow. Well, I guess that's probably the only way to sell 150 cars a month is to have it done and get them in and out.
It's substantially different. Yeah. Like most customers don't even test drive, which I know is like, taboo for most stores.
But they all drive the same. What does it matter? Like, you know what features and benefits that you want, and so like, do you have this in this color? And I think probably where some of the rub comes in, like, do you guys deal with subprime customers at all?
A little bit, not so much in my department, but I'll get customers that hit me up for that. And typically I send them to Ally, especially for doing leasing. because Ally doesn't even look at the score when it comes to approvals. So that is crazy metric. So sometimes you get a 600 score that gets top tier.
Nice.
So it works out good for both of you. There's a potential for a good deal, and the customer gets taken care of at a decent rate.
Yeah,
that they normally.
That's good information to know, because I don't even know that I knew that Ally did leases.
Yeah, so they do leasing. They do some weird, like, they can't tell you how the approval process works. They just call it the ability to buy. And so it scores it out. Sometimes 800s get tier 2. It's really weird. But so we have that. I have Ally, and I have US Bank, and I have CULA, which is Credit Union Leasing America, who uses credit unions in your area. They're probably one of my biggest lenders for leasing.
What is it again? CULA?
Yes, CULA, CULA. Okay. But so they're like the company. They'll set up the residuals, and then they help the lender or the bank set up, their program. So they kind of work hand in hand. So it works really well. We have Rise Federal Credit Union is who I do most of my deals with, and so they'll have good credit union rates for leasing, and then the great residual backed. So you'll come up with some deals that are crazy. During COVID, there was a time where we were 4,000 over MSRP on Tacomas, and it was like leasing one at invoice. So nobody could compete, and everyone was happy. So
yeah, that was pretty low. Actually, I had to buy a vehicle during COVID as well. And I'm in the industry, right? So you would think I'm connected enough to go, and I wanted to buy a Jeep 4xe, because I only live a mile and a half from my office, so I could run on electric most of the time. I don't go anywhere. So it's like 30 miles was fine for me. It was not, I only had 2 dealers that we repped at the time, because we do organic social for dealers too. And I only had 2 at the time that were CDJR stores. One was in Kansas City, really close to me. And the other one was in Fort Wayne, Indiana, not really close to me. Or Decatur, Indiana, actually, right outside. And so I started with the Kansas City store, because I saw online that they had 2 in stock already, that are already there. But sometimes at Kansas City store, they would be sitting on the rails. So they come in by train, and they may be sitting there and not actually at the dealership. And so I reached out to them to find out if it was available, and went through the entire process. But eventually had to buy from the Indiana store, because the Kansas City store didn't take me seriously as a buyer, even though they were my client, and it was ridiculous. The whole thing was ridiculous, but the leasing part of it was really easy, and they didn't have one at the store in Indiana. But he's literally, Jeep is only 8 weeks out on a build. I'm going to send you this right now. It's going to come to my store way before your lease is up on your Range Rover. Here's the stuff, fill it out, blah, 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 blah. I ordered it 2 hours later. It was done. The lease stuff was all signed, and then they delivered it down to me.
It's awesome. My wife had a pink 4xe. My wife ordered a pink Wrangler 4xe. So she was for a while.
Sweet. That raspberry color. Yeah, those are sweet. Yeah, I'm out of that lease now, and wishing, I don't know if I wish I had it back, but I did love having it though. So if you were talking to some guy or some lady, cause I know Donna's on here, there's some women on here too, that have just been in the industry for a year or 2 years, and and I know Tustin isn't a big California city. I've been to Tustin several times. That's why every time someone tags you and they want to name the town Tungsten every time, and I'm in there going, it's at Tustin Toyota. I'm trying to catch up with it. That's not what it is. Where would you tell them to start to getting from? And I know you had a lot of hustle in the beginning, right? You're looking at leads at 4 a.m. I don't know how many people have that much hustle that they're I want to look at this time right there. Number one question is, does your store have a BDC, or does it just have the internet department? That's
so we have two BDCs. We have a service side, and we have a sales side.
Okay.
Probably about 8 in each department.
And how many salespeople are at your store?
Roughly 50.
Okay. Wow, that's a lot. And so what's the next gal lower than you sell per month?
She sells about 30, 35 cars a month.
Okay. Which is still healthy for most of you guys that are on here watching. 30 to 35 is a good income, it isn't whatever. And so then why? And I asked Frank the same question. Why have you never went, I think I want to own my own store. I think I want to be a manager. Like why? I mean, because that's the natural progression that that owners would start pressuring you to come up to here. I know it'd be a pay cut, obviously.
Yeah, that's funny. I've had the same conversation with a general manager of another store before, and I jokingly just said, well, I was like, well, why would I work more hours and make less money, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, I'm like this is the truth. I'm like, I make my own schedule.
Well, I think it's mostly ego, right? I think ego is the thing that goes, oh, I want to be a manager. I want that title, or oh, I want to be this thing, or I want to have ownership in this dealership or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think that sometimes the upper level management like just wants to drag you up there when they shouldn't. I mean, if you're putting out, 150 cars a month and the next person below you is 30 to 35. So if you have those people, like I don't know if you mentor anybody at the store or not, or if you just do your thing and move on with life.
I just do my own thing. You'd think that more people would ask me,
Really?
but they don't.
That's so crazy.
Maybe there might be an intimidation thing of it. Like we're Hannah and I are in the back corner of the building, and like almost in the dark, and so they kind of just leave us alone over there. But you would think more people would ask.
Interesting. So if there was someone that was there, and I'm sure you guys have salespeople there. If you have 50, you have people there that are only selling 10 cars a month
or less.
Right? So if one of them was brave enough to come to you and go, Cody, how do I get to 20? What's the first piece of advice you give them?
Well, I think right now, like the untapped potential at a lot of stores is just do the service department, right? And what I would do, I think it's easy, is I would go through and just audit all the leases that are in there, right? There's people that you could get out of a bad lease from a couple years ago and lower their payment and make a profitable deal and just start there. Like look for all the easy ones first, right? There's plenty of easy deals at the service department to be made, and then we can work on the harder ones and the purchases and things like that. But like we have Auto Alert, and I'll go in and I'll just target all the high resale value vehicles, right? And cars that I know I have replacement units for, and then I'll send them all an email. I don't have time to do it very often, but I'll send out. Say I send 100 emails, I'm going to get probably 2 deals out of that and make $3,000. So the 20 minutes of emails is worth it. But if you scale it to actually being in the service department where you could walk the cars, leave appraisals, I wouldn't even do an appraisal. I would just do an offer. Okay.
The I'm a Car Chick podcast is a proud sponsor of the Social Grenade podcast. Listen now.
I can put you in the same car, lower your payment $40, right? And it's hang tag, move on. And biggest thing is when I put a number on it, it's like, that's a real number. It's not the, hey, we'll mess around with it. It's like,
yeah, what if I could do this?
Yeah, I'm like, I will, if you reply, I will lower your payment $40. And, that would be pretty successful.
Nice. And is anybody doing that at your store?
No, but it's something we've talked about recently. They're working on putting some people in service. So
right. The dealership that I came from, they had a person in service. Like they had their own little office right there in service. They made sure that the service waiting room was nice. It was stocked with snacks, and that they were out there talking to people. And they pulled all of the ROs every morning to like know where there was opportunities in there, so that they could pull them into the office and just have a chat with them while they were waiters, the waiting ones. And it was successful. It accounted for, and like this isn't a great huge number, but if you think about Joplin, Missouri is like 50,000 people, 52,000 people. It was part of the $800,000 budget was allowed to that. As $800,000 is what that person brought in just from the service department.
Wow. Yeah. See, it just makes sense that the people are going to be there. I'm like, go have fun, have a coffee with them.
Yeah, for sure.
I always play the low pressure side. So it's just like, hey, let's just chat. Oh, by the way, would you do it for $40? Or, okay, cool. No, if not, hey, just think about it next time. Let me know,
Okay. And so for some of these people that are on here right now, so the same thing. So if they're not in a heavy lease state, just be looking for those ROs they either are in a good equity position, or they have a vehicle that is high demand, and you know that you could give them a good trade on it.
Sure. I think touching on the lease part of it is, even in a non-high lease state, I think it still always should be presented. Like I worked in Arizona for about 4.5 years. It's not a huge lease state. We were in a very small town. And we just made an effort to show it to everyone and be able to explain it very well. Mm-hmm. It's because most people just haven't been educated on it. And so once you start showing them it became better. our store incentivized paying you better on leases. They did double minis. And if you sold 5 leases, they paid you 500. That was what the store was doing to get that penetration better. And it showed. I think we did probably 15%. So, I think that they should show it, especially with all these people coming out of COVID. All my customers were in leases. And so they just returned them and started fresh, and no negative equity that people are experiencing right now.
Nice. Well, and it's really good that you guys, that's what I was telling the Jeep story about too, is like I only had 2 stores that were selling at MSRP during COVID as well. Both of those ones, the ones that I was trying to buy from. And so I actually got to buy at MSRP. And it was so funny because, I've sat in the managers meetings before where they give away MSRP bonuses pre-COVID, right? MSRP bonuses. If you got to MSRP, and now the new conversation shifted and it's like going, hey, can I buy at MSRP? Like we're just hoping we can buy at MSRP. And so that was a fun dynamic that had changed during COVID. I was like laughing about it going, remember when you guys used to bonus on MSRP? But we had a ton of stores that were gouging. Like I had a Kia store down in Florida that was selling Carnivals at 25,000 over.
Yikes. We were never that bad, but we were following the market for sure.
Yeah. Well, and what people are getting pissed about, and I see both sides of the coin. First of all, if you don't need a car right now, don't buy one. First of all, don't buy in this situation, right? When it's horrible, if you don't need one. And I'm advocate for automotive, but also I understand why they're doing it. If their inventory is very short and they've kept their staff alive, like how are they going to pay that staff? It's got to come from somewhere, and it's coming from this right here. However, if it was a store that had furloughed most of their employees and they're still gouging, I'm like, come on. Who are you paying for? Service department's still open, still making money. Service department, most states was still essential. So I'm so glad we're past that crap. What a life to live through, right?
I had fun though. Like we were traveling a lot
to
open states and working out of open states, but
oh, you had to leave California if you wanted to do that. You weren't there. That whole state shut down. I had some stores in Michigan at the time, and only the service department was allowed to be open. Nothing else was. And so it was tough because then we switched all of our marketing that we were doing. We pulled it from sales over to the service department. And then if customers wanted to talk about vehicles, they had to come to the service department to do it.
That's crazy.
Let's figure out the workaround for this. Okay. So do you have your own finance manager as well?
So I do as of probably June of last year.
Okay.
For about 5 years, I was just doing it myself. And it came down to that was just the choke point. Everyone was waiting to go to finance. So finally I was like, well, I'll just do it and I'll prep most of the deals myself. So that way we get this smooth process. But then after a few years and as the volume scaled, it went full circle. It was now I can't handle all the CIT and all the things after the fact, that need to be adjusted. And so it was begging for, please just give me somebody. So I got one of the better finance guys now. He just works exclusively for me.
That's awesome. And I think I was talking to Frank about that too. And he does the same thing. And I think you just have to have, once you get to that point, obviously the details are what will bury you. And so working out that process, even if you're just selling 15 to 20 cars a month, get your processes dialed in, because then, I'm a huge fan of Alex Hormozy, right? Figure out what works and then pour the gasoline on it and go, okay, if this works now, how do I get it from here to here? It's the same process dialed in. You just throw more activity at it.
Exactly. And now I always joke the machine just runs itself. And sometimes it's just chaotic because you're just I don't even have to do anything. And yes, the deals are flowing in, which sounds great. But then trying to make sure everyone fits that process.
Right.
Difficult.
It's got to be tight, and it's got to be, and we're very process driven at my company too. And nobody's allowed to change a process without talking to me. You explain to me why it needs to be changed. You explain to me how we're changing it. And if I don't understand how we're changing it, it's not moving. I've got them dialed in as well. So you have to think about the fact we have 30, 40 dealerships that we're running their social media. And that is at least one post a day on every social media platform. And I don't duplicate content across platforms that. Getting that stuff into a system and a rhythm to go so that we're not missing anything is it had to be a process. And we developed so many processes just by the fact that we screwed it up. And we'd go, and I wouldn't be mad at who screwed up. I'm like, there's obviously a process missing from here to here because somebody posted a Nissan on a Ford page. What happened here? How did this happen? And with somebody else's front license plate on it. So there was obviously an audit process that got missed. So every time we screwed something up, we added a new process. So what's your goals for the future? I mean, is this it? Like this, are you going to hit 2,000 this year?
I think I'm going to hit 2,000 this year. It sounds crazy, but I was like, it's only 16 cars more every month, right?
Yeah.
And so January was fine. I did that. February was a little bit of struggle, but I wasn't even there half the month. So
Excuse
I
me.
did that with 125. So I did was about 10 over. So this month we're gonna do 175. So it's gonna scale back up. So it's gonna be, I think 2,000 will be no problem.
That'd be amazing. And so when you guys have, I'm gonna sneeze again. Ew,
Let's see.
excuse me. So, oh my gosh, when you and your family all get together and have family events, you and your sister-in-law just talk shop all the time?
A little bit. We were at church the other morning and I was like rambling off to her real quick all the things that she's gonna do because I'm not there on Sundays. And I'm like, oh really? You just sat down at church, you're gonna start talking about this? Or we were at dinner the other night and she got there late from work and just catching up, and there's a lot of it.
Well, it's funny because like my business partner is also my best friend. So like when we're at work, she's the CFO, I'm the CEO. And then when we leave here, we have to go into a different mode, right? And it's hard for us. Like we go to the gym every morning. So she lives on my block. So I pick her up every morning, we go to the gym, and like in that small, like 10-minute window of us picking her up and driving from there to the gym is like business. We're on the treadmill. I'm like, hang on, did we do da da blah 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 blah? Like it's like it doesn't ever turn off.
Yeah, unfortunately it doesn't. This is a 24-hour business, really, especially in California. Like I get texts 11, 12 o'clock all the time asking me for quotes from customers. So that's why, direct them to the website.
So you're the number one salesperson for Toyota nationwide?
Correct.
What does that come with? Like any benefits? They throw you extra money?
No extra. Well, I guess there's a little bit. Like there's smaller things. So we do like they call them Trek points, almost like credit card points. Right. So I get a much higher tier points, and they actually spend very well. So I get that, and then the top 50 guys plus the top 8 from every region, just to make it fair, go on a trip every year. So next month we're going to Mexico. So we'll be there for a week with everybody and do all the different trips. And then my region just has like a +1. They give us like a massage day. So my wife and I get a massage day plus all the other excursions they're already going to do. And so that's pretty much it. But it's fun. There's a business meeting and they'll announce, the top of every region. And obviously my number is pretty big. So
I love that. So the next guy down within Toyota, what's his numbers?
He's probably about 400 behind or 300, somewhere in there. They don't fully tell you till that meeting. But that was about the last I heard. And the computer kind of gives you an idea of like first, second, and third in this country.
Right. So how long are you going to do this? What's the exit plan?
I don't have any exit plan right now. I live in California. It's expensive, and we like to live a decent life. So I got to keep working.
All right. Well, Cody, I'm going to let you go. 30 minutes is really all that we try to suck out of somebody's life. I hope that you guys, gathered, even if you could get one piece of information out of here that may help you move to the next level. I hope that you got that from Cody. And any final words for these wonderful humans?
That was great being here. If you need anything, definitely shoot me a message. I'll do my best to reply and within a timely manner, but I'm always here to help everybody.
I love it. Thank you guys. Everybody have a great day.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.